What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So yesterday we had a big announcement from Nintendo that later on today we would have a brand new Indie World Showcase airing, and immediately people started asking for certain games to be there, and we're going to go over some of those games and what we could see at this event here today. Also, we're going to talk about Microsoft's own Indie Showcase that aired yesterday and showed off a ton of games over the course of a couple of hours, with some dropping right into Game Pass day one. And we're also going to be talking about this whole PlayStation 5 abandoned situation, because it was already weird enough, but somehow it's getting even weirder. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton, and if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all the uploads here on the channel. And we're going to start today with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, last year, I know we had that Mario 64 decompilation project that came to an end, and the game itself started to make the rounds online with a full PC port, and from there, it was even ported to systems like the Sega Dreamcast. But what got people really excited is when we saw all kinds of modifications where the water textures were different, the character model, even ray tracing being added in. Well, now it looks like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is nearing the end of its own decompilation project. We can see this over on VGC, where they say the Zelda 64 decomp project nears completion, increasing chance of PC port. Fans say decompilation effort is now over 90% complete. Similar project led to the Mario 64 PC port, and this was the next logical game to do after Mario 64, since this is one that people have looked at for a while and said that would be a pretty cool game to see, with different effects like ray tracing or having these assets changed out or just modified like crazy if it is reverse engineered for PC. Now, the thing with this, and this kind of gets, I guess, confused a bit, the idea of decompiling the game and having it figured out through your own code from scratch, essentially, it's not illegal. You're able to do that. Nintendo really wasn't able to do much with the Mario 64 decompilation project, and they're not able to do much here. Where Nintendo comes in and gets frustrated, it seems anyway, and will even put out like cease and desist and copyright strikes when it comes to the modification of these different characters and assets. So, I mean, this appears like it's going to be done before the end of this year, and trust me, I'm sure we'll still see a ton of different modifications, ray tracing, all kinds of stuff get added in. Also, we did have a brand new system announced yesterday. Take a look at this. There's a full trailer that was put out, and this is the A500 Mini. Now, this is apparently the next system from Retro Games after they did the Commodore 64 Mini, and it's going to be coming out early 2022. They have a price of about $140 on it, and it's going to be coming with 25 titles. They have not shown the full list, but some they have shown off here so far includes Another World, Worms, Simon the Sorcerer, the Chaos Engine, and I'm not like super familiar with the Amiga 500, but I think this is really cool for fans of the system. They have like a USB port on the side, which, I mean, you're probably going to be able to load up your own ROMs, right? And that's what a lot of people will do who pick this up. They showed off like a controller and a mouse and everything, kind of give you that nostalgic effect while being able to still hook it up to like your HDMI TV or just have it as a collector's piece. Pretty cool though for Amiga fans. Just keep an eye out for the full list of games that hopefully will be revealed as we get towards the end of this year, going into its launch early 2022. Oh, and I have some exciting news for the medium to small Windjammers community out there. Looks like we'll be able to try out Windjammers 2 starting today. We can see this over on Twitter that was tweeted out by Emu saying, Windjammers 2 is officially coming to PlayStation 4 and PS5 with Gary Scott. Get ready for the open beta starting tomorrow, 3 p.m. CEST, that's today, till August 22nd on PC, PS4, and PS5. Now, they do go on with some details as to what will be in this beta. 4 stages. We have the beach, ring, stadium, and rooftop. 4 playable characters, Miller, Scott, Biagi, and Sophie, and then full online ranked play, it looks like, with leaderboards. So this is pretty cool, and the fact that it's going to be running for like over a week, that's exciting stuff. And I know Windjammers is a game that's kind of flown under the radar for a bit, but I really enjoy it, and from what I've seen with Windjammers 2, it looks good. I've just been waiting to be able to play it to see how it exactly feels, and looks like I'll be able to start doing that today over the course of the next week or so. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Nintendo and their Indie World Showcase coming up here in a couple of hours after this video releases. We can see this over on Twitter, where Nintendo of America tweets out, a new Indie World Showcase arrives on August 11th at 9 a.m. Pacific or noon Eastern. Tune in for roughly 20 minutes of information on upcoming indie games heading to Nintendo's Switch. Now, tomorrow morning, I'll have a full roundup of all the games announced, but let's face it, there are some big titles that people are hoping to see here, and I already know you're typing in the comments, Hollow Knight Silk Song, and I'm really hoping that's the closeout, because I figured it's either gonna close out one of these indie worlds, like as like the big, hey, wow, this is coming out, here's the release date, get ready for it, or it is just part of a large standard Nintendo Direct that will see some of these bigger titles from, big AAA publishers, and all of this are just Nintendo. But I think that'd be a really cool way to finally put it out there and tell us when it's coming out. Now, we were kind of expecting an indie world here, mostly because we've seen Nintendo do it in August for a while now, but the other thing had to do with the update for Axiom Verge 2, which tells me Axiom Verge 2 will most likely be here with the release date. We're expecting it in the next 4 or 5 months or so, and this would be a good spot to at least put a release date on it and get everyone ready for it. Now, outside of those two obvious larger indie games that people have been asking to see more about, a few others I'm looking for and hoping to see here includes Sports Story. I know I keep asking for Sports Story, and I know it's not like a large team of people working on it at Sidebar Games, but I really enjoy Golf Story, so I'm hoping to see Sports Story here. It just appears that it has continued to get larger and larger with some of the ideas that they wanted to do with it. So if it does take them more time, that's fine. I would like to play it sooner rather than later. The other one is maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. That still has a 2021 release year on it. So, I mean, we're in August now. You figure they want to put a release date on the game and get that rolling and maybe have it out in October or November. This seems like a great spot to put it, unless, again, they want to wait maybe for a larger Nintendo Direct. But if that's not slated till end of September or even October, we'll say, just hypothetically, that might be too far out for them. So that's another one I would like to see. Also, Shredder's Revenge looks awesome from what they've shown. So yeah, that's another one I'd like to see a date put on and just more overall gameplay. But from there, who knows what else we could see? And that's one of the more exciting parts about these Indie World showcases, is it's genuinely surprising to see some of these ideas that these smaller developers will come up with, because they're creative, like very creative. In fact, it's to the point now where you see the bigger AAA publishers and developers obviously take a lot of influence from these smaller creative studios who take chances on, really out there ideas sometimes. And if it works out, then yeah, you see the bigger companies come in and try to put their own spin on the idea that originated it. Some of these smaller titles, but either way, exciting stuff to have an event to look forward to. Make sure you check that out here about 4 hours after this video goes live, noon Eastern. Next up, let's talk about this whole situation around Abandon on the PlayStation 5. And this has been going on for a while, where it feels like it's something completely different because they keep teasing things like Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid, and people just assume that it's Kojima pulling the strings in the background for this one. But yesterday, we were supposed to have a real-time demo, or like a real-time experience, go live. It was gonna be something different through an application you downloaded on your PlayStation 5, and it never happened, at least at the time of this recording. And I waited a while. I was like pushing it till later on, and I was like, maybe they're gonna tweet something out. Maybe it's gonna go live. Instead, when the countdown timer ended for this application on the time that they had allotted, it just went to coming soon. And that was kind of it. In fact, if we go over to their Twitter account, where they haven't, again, tweeted anything about this since last night, again, at the time of this recording, we can see they started out teasing it. Are you ready? And then after that, it went straight to, there is a technical issue with the delivery of the patch. We are working to get this live ASAP. We apologize for the inconvenience. Later on, they said, we will inform you once we resolve the issue. Hours later, quick update, we are still working on it. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. Then it just went late into the night and still nothing at this point. And that's so strange, because the buildup for this application, it was preloaded like a week or so ago, a while ago. This thing was ready, at least on your PlayStation 5. You're just kind of hanging out waiting. They've been teasing this event. They actually pushed it back from, I believe, the end of July into like the second week of August, where we are now. And they're still having this technical issue. And it got even stranger, because even Shuhei Yoshida just tweeted out about this thing, seeing Abandon on the PlayStation 5 dashboard and in the shop. And he just had, So, like, I'm not really sure what's going on with this whole Abandon thing, because it does feel weird. It does not look like a normal thing. And I mean, I still think it's just a marketing ploy from a smaller developer who's realized that, yeah, pretending like it's something other than the game that they've been showing off and developing is working. In fact, it trended on Twitter yesterday with like 40,000 tweets about this random abandoned project that we still don't even know the full title to, just because it feels like such a mystery. And yesterday on the second channel, I had talked about how Metal Gear Solid 2 is turning 20 years old in November, and just kind of talked about my thoughts around people maybe still looking for a big twist like that, where we thought we had it with Death Stranding because there's no way that could be a walking simulator type game where delivering packages. That's exactly what it was from Kojima, and now I think people are looking at Abandoned and they're kind of clinging on like, maybe this is just something different and they're trying to fool us, but we figured it out. And that tells me it's probably not. It probably legitimately is a smaller developer who's running into issues, and it looks really bad from the outside because they keep pushing the envelope with some of these teases that are leaning into the whole theories around this with Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid. Here's hoping, I guess, this real-time experience gets sorted out today with this patch, and then we can finally see what this thing is, but I'm not getting my hopes up at all. Might be time to prepare for disappointment around this one. Next up, let's talk about a game that I'm getting pretty excited for, and that's Tales of Arise. This is from Bandai Namco, and this is them moving the Tales series, I think, in a pretty good direction. The game itself is going to be built in Unreal Engine, which is the first time for the series, and it looks like we won't have to wait another month to get our hands on it, as there will be a playable demo next week. We can see this over on Twitter from Tales of Arise, saying the adventure of a lifetime starts in just 1 month. A free play demo of Tales of Arise will be available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X and S on August 18th. Unfortunately, nothing about PC mentioned in this tweet, so you'll have to go ahead and play it on a console if you want to check out the demo. There are still questions around what they're going to do with this demo, because from what I remember with the previews, they had dropped different people who were just kind of previewing and going over for publications just into like the middle of the game, and they had like an hour or two just kind of running around with an already established party with equipment and, you know, leveled up and all this. So I was hoping that this could be what we've seen from Square when it comes to things like Dragon Quest, where they give you like the first chunk of the game and your save data carries over. I think that is a really cool trend that we've been seeing more and more, especially with RPGs recently, and that's what I'd like to see here with Tales of Arise. Now, it also depends on, you know, how long the game is. The reason Dragon Quest XI-S can give you legitimately a 10-hour long demo, which is still crazy to think about, is because the game itself is very long. It doesn't necessarily mean that Tales of Arise is going to be as long as like a Dragon Quest XI-S, but even if it was like 2 or 3 hours long and it's just the opening sequence and maybe the first dungeon or something to get you kind of caught up and here's how it plays and all this and get you excited, and then you transfer stuff over, maybe they give you like an extra item or piece of equipment for doing that and checking out the demo. I think that'd be a good way to get people hyped and excited, and maybe even looking into the game who wasn't going to before. Either way though, I'm going to check out the demo on both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. That way I can compare and see if the DualSense is used in any real meaningful way, and from there I can decide which platform I want to pick it up on. But check it out next week. Exciting stuff there for Tales of Arise. And in our last bit of news, let's go over Microsoft's indie showcase that they had yesterday, because there were a lot of games in here. I was watching some of it and the entire showcase just kept going. So we're gonna go over the large list of titles that they have over at news.xbox.com, and I'll also link down below to it if you want to check out more about any of these titles. After we go through all of them quickly, we'll circle back around for some of the highlights that they have on the page. So starting at the top here with this full list that you see, we have Aeon Drive, then we have Anvil, Origami 2, Button City, Evil Genius 2, Inked, Inku Lunati, Labrat, Library of Runa, Lightyear Frontier, Loot River, Mad Streets, Ollie Ollie World, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, Planet of Lana, Project Wingman, Paparazzi, RPG Time, Sable, Sam & Max Save the World Remastered, She Dreams Elsewhere, Solace State, Soup Pot, Space Lines from the Far Out, Stardew Valley, that's just coming to Xbox Game Pass though, which is pretty cool. The Big Con, The Veil Shadow of the Crown, and The Wandering Village. Now, circling back around here, they did go over some of these games in a bit more depth, like Aeon Drive, which does have a game demo out now, and looking over the trailer for this, I think I am going to check out that demo because it looked like a pretty cool action 2D side-scrolling platformer style game, and it also has 4-player co-op, which is pretty cool. That'll be out fall 2021. They showed off Lab Rat, that's console and PC, coming 2022. Library of Ruina. Now that launched immediately into Game Pass yesterday on cloud and console. Ollie Ollie World, which I've seen Ollie Ollie World a couple of times now, and they seem to have more and more stuff to show every single time, and I think I'm checking this game out immediately when it releases. They still just have it set up as a winter 2021 release, and they also mentioned 120 Hz 4K support on the Xbox Series X. Sam & Max Save the World Remastered, that's just out now. You can just check it out, which I do like these shadow drops for these different games. I think that's the most exciting part, is when you find out there's a game that you were excited for and you can just go ahead and download it right now. Space Lines from the Far Out, that's fall 2021, but there is a game demo out now on the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X and S. And then we have The Big Con, that is out August 31st, 2021. And overall, like I said, they had a lot to show off here. There's a little bit of something for everyone. And once again, I do like when they drop things a day, like immediately, shadow drop it, especially if they shadow drop it into Game Pass. And hearing about Stardew Valley going into Game Pass is another really cool game to have for the service. But overall, check out news.xbox.com at the link if you want to learn a bit more about any of these games, because there was a lot to go over there, and it was an exciting showcase. It moved along pretty quick, even though it was a couple of hours long. It's just they had a lot to show. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked which of these new September video game releases are you most looking forward to? We have Kena Bridge of Spirits at 25%, Deathloop at 13%, Tales of Arise at 17%, WarioWare Get It Together at 37%, and then Lost Judgment at the bottom, 8%. Some of you were asking why I didn't put like Sonic, Colors, Ultimate. Well, that's mostly because I have 5 spots to pick for this poll. They don't give me any more than that. And I decided to just go with all new original games, not necessarily remasters. If I just didn't have enough games to put in here because September was kind of low on games, then I would have put Sonic in there. But I'm certainly looking forward to Tales of Arise, and I'm hoping the demo really sells me on it more. And of course, Kena Bridge of Spirits. WarioWare, I mean, I'll check out, but I don't know if that's going to be a game that I'm going to spend, like 30, 40 hours in, like I might in something like Tales of Arise. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Nate saying, Metal Gear Solid 2 was the weakest entry in the Solid series. I wonder how many haven't played Metal Gear Solid 3, which is the strongest in the series, and when will they re-release that? I know we got the collection on PS3, but that was forever ago now. They should throw the collection on current consoles, including Switch. I completely agree. Metal Gear Solid 3, to me anyway, is the best in the series. It's a very, very good game. There's only one problem. It also sold less than, I believe, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 5 and 4. Unfortunately, 3, even though it is praised so highly, is actually on the lower end of the sales if you look at the series overall. But I do think that you're absolutely right that Konami needs to go back and just grab all these Metal Gear Solid games, put it into one package, and release it on all platforms. Let's be real. If they put 1, 2, 3, 4, and they just dropped it on, they get full price for that. I know 4 would probably be a lot of work to port over, but at least 1, 2, and 3 and just kind of call it a day there. It would certainly, I think, sell pretty well for them, and they would mostly just be porting these over and putting them into one collection. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here. Today was the big Indie World Showcase coming up here from Nintendo. What do you want to see there? Or what about Microsoft's showcase yesterday? Was there anything you were really excited to see at that one? And then what about this whole abandoned situation with the PS5? It just seems really strange, but let me know if you were someone who was at your PS5 when it was supposed to go live, just waiting at that application screen and just nothing ever happened. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.